Hello, everybody, and welcome to your first side quest, The Descent into Holmes End. Holmes End is a Call of Cthulhu campaign set in the fictional town of Holmes End, Rhode Island, created by myself. Me and my friends have been running it since around July. We've had a total of 25 sessions so far, and counting. Through this series, I hope to convey the wonder and horrors me and my friends have experienced, as well as going over the story so far and answering questions along the way. I appreciate any questions you guys leave down in the comments. Communication's great, and I would love to hear from you guys. Note, I'm no expert in the Call of Cthulhu tabletop experience. I know the basic rules, and I've even added some myself for some flavor and for some fun. But I think the main goal that I strive is to tell a thrilling story, something people can remember, and something that sticks in the minds. And I hope I've done that, and I hope I can convey that to you all as we head down this path. So without further ado, let's start our travels into the town of Holmes End. At the end of a dreary and winding road surrounded by forest lies the town of Holmes End. In this town, not everything is as it seems. First of all, it was hard to find, almost as if it wanted to hide from the maps that you looked through. As you drive into town, you can almost feel eyes watching you from the trees. Perhaps you see something long and slender move from within. The trick of the eyes? Must be. At the end of the road that seems far too long than it should, the trees eventually break away to reveal a quaint little town surrounded by mountains on either side. You drive past a cafe covered in old Halloween decorations like a smoking cauldron and some sort of scarecrow. A swinging sign stands in front of the shop with the words "Whispers of the Woods" printed upon it. The road continues into town. Towards the north, you can see the road split into a more residential area. The houses are all the same tired brick with a freshly mowed front lawn. It almost seems to stretch far into the horizon. An endless row of perfectly furnished houses watching from the sides. Continuing into the town, many places catch your eye. There's the monumental stone library with statues built into the stone, depicting figures from the town's history. There's the red-bricked 7-story hotel room with its moth-eaten curtains and the faint sense of loneliness that comes with all hotel rooms. There's a host of shops. Some are recognizable brands, places that seem to pop up everywhere like weeds. Some are pawn shops or hairstylists or bookstores or anything else you would find nestled in a row. But sitting amongst the shops is the bright white, slightly disinfectant-smelling Holmes End Hospital, where you can occasionally see nurses move past the wide windows that offer views into the interior. Rumor has it that the hospital is haunted. But which hospital isn't? For a small town, there's a surprising amount of people either driving and walking the streets, enjoying their time at the parks, exploring the woods, or just otherwise existing. This town is very much alive, despite its apparent invisible existence to the outside world. People are moving, talking about the weather or the town paper, keeping the town's blood pumping. Speaking of the paper, you can see the newsroom as you drive amongst the town. It's a 2-story brick building covered in outdated and peeling peach paint. The backside seems to be under some sort of construction and is surrounded by a barbed wire fence covered in tarp. A sign that is too small creaks in the breeze. It's made of iron and bears a symbol of a book lit aflame. A strange logo for sure, but it must have meant something back in the day. Passing through the town, you see more areas of interest. There's the Holmes End graveyard, where an old woman walks amidst the graves. There's the Holmes End police station, which has a strange bronze statue depicting a man holding hands with a child. You see a church, architecturally unique and depicting a stained glass image of Jesus that makes your head hurt. There's a sign that leads north towards Lake Lostman, a dangerous spot, but one that many people still travel through on the 3 trails into the woods and around. When you finally see it, the place that summoned you to this wicked town, the place that summoned all of you, amidst an empty jewelry store and a boarded up shop is a signpost depicting a large slender figure bowing and holding a lantern with the words Sly and Slender printed above. This is where our story begins. So let's just get right into this. Could you all describe your character, or can you describe your experience in Holmes End in a single sentence? Let's start with Alyssa.
Spoopy, scary skeletons.
Spoopy,
No,
scary
it's
skeletons.
That's kind of like 3 sentences, but
It's 3 words.
It's 3 words.
It is 3 words. No, there's like it's spooky.
Oh.
Scary.
Uh-huh.
I
Skeleton.
see.
No.
Have we seen skeletons yet? I don't think we've seen skeletons
No,
yet.
we haven't
Not
seen
yet.
skeletons yet,
Yeah.
but not yet.
Yet.
I mean, anything's possible in Holmes End.
That's
You know
true.
what?
I've seen some dead
That's my
bodies.
sentence. That's my sentence. Anything's possible in Holmes End.
That's true.
So true.
It's who you're in for a treat. You guys are in for a treat. The meta,
How would you?
the meta shit. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm
No,
just rambling.
I was gonna move on. How would you describe your experience in a single sentence, Evan?
My experience?
It's a very interesting sentence you just said.
You're taking my
If you
shtick,
need some
Evan.
time to think about it, I can move on.
Oh yeah, I do need a little bit of time. Sorry.
Halia, how would you describe your experience in Holmes End?
Oh my god. Thank you for asking, Noah.
No problem.
But my experience in Holmes End has been so fucking fun.
Mhm.
It's been so fun, so spooky, thrilling, and just overall
Spooky, scary skeletons.
amazing. It's so good. I'm
Glad
excited.
to hear it. Mhm. Thank you.
That's great.
You're welcome.
Ryan, you know the question?
This is a hard thing to do in one sentence. You just gave me a task that would take the strongest writers years of their lives to do.
Imagine having to do something in a single sentence.
So I
think
wouldn't know anything about that. Maybe with
I
time.
gave two.
Maybe with time I'll know. I would say one word to describe my experience in Holmes End.
One sentence.
Sentence.
It could be a word.
I would say.
Could be a word.
I would say the one word would probably be kind of maybe dysphoric. You know, my
Ooh.
vision of
Fancy
reality in the
word.
town of Holmes End has definitely been distorted a whole lot. So I'd say dysphoric. If that's the
That's
word
an
I'm
interesting
thinking of.
word. Yeah, but I definitely see where you're coming from. There have been moments that I've created that have made me have made me think about life differently. And it's almost given me like moments where like you're almost like out of your body. I
Yeah.
think it is just called like the dysphoria.
I think it's dysmorphic. I think it'd be dysmorphic, something like that.
Yeah. There's definitely
dysphoric is-
a few moments that made me feel like I was out of my body.
Yeah, I think
Damn.
the word I was looking
Yeah,
for was
no, I'm not joking.
Jeez.
Remember, we were on a car ride home after I had ran the session. And in the session, there was a particular moment where the characters had experienced something grander, something beyond them. And it made me really think about
moment?
this whole campaign. We'll get there.
Stay tuned.
We'll get there. Stay
Stay
tuned for a chapter about the hospital.
But for me, yeah, it's just one word, and I would say dysmorphic.
Oh,
Not dysphoric, dysphoric is dissatisfied or not content, and that is something I very much so am with Holmes End, but definitely very just distorted, I'd say.
Glad to hear it.
View of reality.
Evan, have you found an answer?
Yes. It sent me into a downward spiral of chaos and uncertainty.
Preach.
Let's go. I love hearing how much I messed you guys up.
I'm going to be
amount of
scarred for the rest of my life.
emotions and anxiety I felt in this damn campaign could be a therapy session on its fucking own.
Oh, no.
You ruined me.
Boys, I gotta go Kraken.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Kraken Asylum at some point.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
But aside from that,
Chapter 1.
each of you made a character, someone who you can put in this strange town. Can you give us an outline of that character and how you came up with them? Let's start with Ryan this time.
To give you guys a brief outline, my character's name is Briar Weathers. Okay, very odd last name, very I would say I guess lesser known first name. The outline of him is he's kind of he's a dropout of a police academy turned private eye, very into photography, and very stoic and serious character a lot of the time. But when he warms up to you, he definitely lets off to the very youthful nature that he's only about 24 years old, being thrust into the situation of investigating this mysterious town for reasons known practically only to him. He's very distrusting and very, very curious. Picture just a classic like private eye. Gets what he needs. Very good at asking the right questions to kind of draw the conclusions that he wants. And I came up with him not knowing that Holmes End would turn into something so grand. I thought Holmes End would be like a miniature campaign, like 1 to 3 sessions. So originally, I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into like, oh, where am I going with this character? I was just like, I'm gonna make a private eye, someone that would want to go and investigate this kind of stuff. Not someone who, especially he has quite a couple skills under his belt, but someone that's kind of good at fighting, kind of good at investigating, not a jack of all trades. But I think that's what the charm of Briar is the fact that he's a very simple character. Very simple motive of just wanting to investigate for his own benefit of answers, and
hearing Briar's age is he's 24. You said, right?
Yeah, he's 24 years old. He's 25 in a couple months, but here at the start of the story, he's a very serious, stoic, and I would say very, very, very curious man.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent is archaeologist coming into Holmes End from Washington, D.C. I'm not 100% sure on how he was brought into everything again. But
we'll get to that.
Yeah. But now I remember. He was doing some research on a certain statue that had been brought in from unknown or anonymous donation, and doing some further research, he ended up coming across some information that led to Holmes End. In doing so, he packed up his luggage, his computer, the statue itself, and any other necessities he needed, and traveled to Holmes End in search for answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you want me to go into a physical description, but
blow
the picture.
Right. Don't worry, he'll be up there.
Okay.
So that's Vincent. Great character. And let's move on to your character, Alyssa.
True. My being that I play is a college student named Lauren Brown. She's in her early 20s, similar to Briar. She was in college for policing. I don't know the correct term. But she was in school for that, and for a summer, like, extra credit assignment, she got this assignment to go to Holmes End and pretty much investigate it, and she got some stuff from her professor to kind of help her with that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how in depth you want me to go with it.
No, that's all right. As much as you want to explore. I mean, we gotta be careful that we don't let anything slip.
I just looked
No
into the
spoilers.
cracks.
I just
Yeah.
looked behind me and almost had a
Spoilers.
heart attack. I forgot I put that thing there.
Don't worry about that. The
worry
dolls will come soon.
Oh my god.
How would you describe your character, Halia?
Well, my character is named Crystal Reeves. She's in her early 20s. She's really into astrology, conspiracy theories. Whether or not Diana is still alive and around, we don't know. Maybe we'll figure that out.
Who knows what
Side
could happen in
quest.
Holmes End?
Princess Diana. We know where
Princess
she went.
Diana came here. That's where she
We
came.
stand Princess Diana.
We do. We love
No fucking way. My mind is blown.
it. Yeah, right. But yeah, Crystal's great. She's amazing. She is best friends with one of our friends, like in our actual friends. Their
Our real
name
life friends.
is their name is Sam, and they're very, very similar. They love conspiracies, mythology, anything to do with that. So she had a little dream, and now she's here. Really, all I have to put in there.
Dream.
And for Sam's case, they were played by a friend, but unfortunately, due to scheduling issues, she couldn't make it anymore. But I'm always down if she ever wants to come back and pick up Sam or another character. I have a way that they can come back anytime. So
We miss you.
Sammy, come back.
Sammy,
Sammy,
come back.
Come back to me.
come back to me.
Never meant to hurt you.
So, next question I want to ask was, how was your character introduced to Holmes End, and what did they think of it? So let's start with Evan this time.
Well, like I said, Vincent came into town via public transportation because he's from out of state. He came into town, just thought of it as just some weird place that, he stumbled across and is going to give him answers to questions he has. Business first, luxury later.
I believe Vincent, he said he was given a gift by an anonymous donor. It was this little statuette made of this white stone. It was kind of in the shape of some like rotund human that was like kneeling over, holding their knees. But instead of a face, it had these 3 holes, just almost like a bowling ball where its face should be. I believe written on the back of that, there was a little section in Braille that simply said, "The Sly and Slender."
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. And let's see how was Crystal introduced to Holmes End?
Crystal was introduced to Holmes End by her employer, the librarian of the library she worked at. He gave her a copy of Crime and Punishment, which had a little. I think it was a map. I think it's a map that was in there
Hmm.
that was to Holmes End and was Sly and Slender there.
Yeah, I believe part of that map there was something else written on it. Some strange words and symbols written in Russian.
Was it Russian?
It might have been Russian.
I don't
I
have my
think we
sheet
had
down
this
here.
thing before. I think we had this conversation before. It
I
might
think
have
we
been
did.
English. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It
I'm
might
pretty
have
sure
been
it was in
Russian.
English now I'm thinking about it. Mistakes happen.
Maybe. Oh well. There was something written there.
Continuity errors. Who needs them?
And that really, whatever that thing was, really piqued Crystal's interest.
Oh my god, yeah.
But how was your character introduced into Holmes End, Alyssa?
As I kind of mentioned a little bit, she got this case from her college professor. Why her fucking college professor is giving a 20-year-old a crazy case like this. Uh, but
It's not so bad.
Extra
not so
credit.
bad.
It's extra credit. Yeah, you'll be fine. It should only take a few weeks.
Totally.
Nothing bad's gonna happen. So yeah, she got like case files from her professor. One came with a Polaroid of like this rotting fucking corpse at a lake. Crazy fucking shit. That should be first sign to professor being like, what the fuck. uh, but yeah, so Lauren got in her shit box of a car and drove to Holmes End.
Ye old shitbox.
Only
Ye
thinking
old
it's going to
shitbox.
take a few weeks and it's gonna wrap up and it's not gonna be that bad.
Mm. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it did not go that way.
It may be a little bit bad.
It's,
I also
to be
believe-
fair, hey, it's only been a
Little
couple
silly.
weeks. It's only been a couple weeks.
It's a little silly. A little silly.
I also
Yeah,
believe a part of the case file, along with the picture, there was this video of like it was in a
Yes.
back alley, and they recorded some figure in a business suit wearing a gas mask come up into the street light, and I believe they held up a note and looked at the camera, and it simply said Sly and Slender on it.
Yep.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's
Very-
awful.
very
You
Ew.
is a perfect way to describe that.
Should
Oh my
be
God.
sign number 2 to professor being like, maybe I shouldn't be sending young kids to this
Yeah.
town. But
Yeah, Professor is a bit kooky.
a
He's a
little,
little
maybe
silly.
a little kooky, maybe a little crazy. Who
But
knows?
you know who else is a little bit kooky? Ryan, how was your character introduced to Holmes End? And what do they think of it?
Well, I actually believe, unlike anybody else, he didn't find anything that was like, hey, come to Holmes End. So first of all, he's from Alaska. He kind of made his way across the United States, cold case to cold case, due to something that happened to him a while into his past, where his brother went actually missing, vanished out of thin air, and it was a cold case, and he figured maybe this could lead him somewhere. And if I remember correctly, he stumbled upon just Holmes End because it's kind of like the kind of epicenter of cold cases. He arrived a couple days before everyone else. Kind of had a lay of the land before anybody got their feet really into the ground, and knew a couple of things that maybe would have been better off not knowing, but it definitely was a driving factor of the fact that he kind of stumbled upon it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yes, something along those lines. Either way, all of you were somehow called to this place, whether through maybe just feel, emotion, or somebody trying to lure you into this town. And that's where we started session 1. The
Woohoo!
party who were all split up at this point. Each briefly went around town, began exploring the many places and buildings around Holmes End, before eventually they all found their way to the Holmes Inn for lodging. It's this flaked bricked building holding around 7 floors of closed and moth-eaten curtains. Inside is the constant buzzing of fluorescent lights and the humming of vending machines. There's a sad quiet that fills the rooms of an otherwise occupied apartment complex. This is where they all gathered, they met, and they learned a bit about each other. So what did the party think of each other at first? Did anything like stand out? Were there any questions you wanted to ask each other? Just jump in at any point.
Well, I'll start off as Briar. So Briar is a private investigator, as I've said many times before. So the questions that he did want to know the answers to, he just asked, and he kind of got the answers that he expected, especially from Crystal and Sam. When he met the party, he kind of did like a psychological evaluation. He asked questions like, "How are your parents? Where are you from? What do you do for a living?" And with this, he kind of drew, I think, a pretty good understanding of what each character roughly was like. Especially with Crystal and Sam realizing that they are a little bit crazy,
a bit too much into conspiracy theories.
Yeah. He learned.
We don't use the word crazy.
Yeah, they're a little bit eccentric.
Use the word temporarily insane here.
Yeah, so, that's a good way to describe it.
They just have their own beliefs, okay?
We're quirky.
They're quirky.
Well, in their case, like they're the right ones.
Yeah, they're just a little bit eccentric.
Yeah.
A little bit eccentric.
Yeah.
We're right, you're wrong. You're a witch.
Shut up.
So.
But Briar definitely thought that Sam and Crystal are a little bit, like you can't really trust what comes out of their mouth because, like, they believe anything. Like if Briar was like, "Do you know the government's watching right now?" They'd probably like, "What? Where? Like the birds?"
No, Sam would already be in the know of that.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought.
How'd you figure it out?
Vincent's a little bit he's older. Great. He's older, maybe not as lax. But he did. As soon as he found out that he was an archaeologist, he was like, "This man's smart. He's a good figure to have around because he can find out things. He also has that knowledge that Briar doesn't. He's like, this is a good connection to have in case anything comes up, And with Lauren, he was like, well, you definitely have some troubled past. But he definitely was like, oh, you're like in the police academy as well. That's not gonna last long. Nobody likes sticking around that shit. The couple things that did stand out was the fact that everyone was quite young, and the fact that Sam was a little bit disheveled. He was like, oh, they kind of seem homeless. They could be dangerous. But he kind of did strike Crystal and Sam as a little bit gullible and kind of unreliable in that regard of gathering information. Definitely thought that Vincent would be a very, very useful connection with maybe some of his like DC connections or other, scientists know scientists, real recognize real.
Let's swap the table a bit. What did Crystal think about Briar?
Ooh.
I mean, okay. I think the first question she asked someone, I think it was Briar, was something about like, are you a wizard? Or like, do you know anything? Do you know anything?
Really?
It was something related to magic.
Yeah, I remember when Crystal and Sam were introduced, they were off the fucking rails.
Yes.
In a slightly goofy way.
Oh wait, no, I remember what it was. We were on the bus here, to Holmes End, and Sam was like, I don't remember what they said, but it was like, what if we run into like aliens? And Crystal was like, we're not gonna run into aliens. They don't exist. We're gonna run into warlocks.
yeah, something like that.
And spellcasters. And Sam looked at Crystal like she had 5 heads. So
weird.
But
Yeah.
what she thought of Briar? I don't really remember. I think she was just like,
He's a
that's
guy.
a guy.
Yeah,
guy.
fair enough. Yeah.
That's a man, I guess.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
He's a man.
nothing really stood out.
I mean,
Average Joe.
when yeah, Briar has vitiligo, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't remember that being a focal point, but
Not really mentioned. Just
she
joking.
would have noticed that.
Yeah.
I didn't like speak on it, but she would have noticed it.
Yeah.
So I guess that would have stuck out to her.
Makes sense.
but-
You don't walk up to someone and go, "Oh, you got that, don't you?"
Oh,
You
yeah,
just know. You
What
look at
the-
it and you
what
go,
the
you go,
heck?
huh. Like you just go, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
she'd be like,
Okay.
oh, okay.
Anybody else?
So he's a sorcerer.
Oh, are you asking Halia still? My bad.
I'm asking just anybody.
Oh, okay, I'll jump in. I don't really remember what I thought about Vincent. I was kind of like, he's a guy. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart.
Average reaction.
Cool. Definitely looked at Crystal and Sam being like, oh, you're one of those people.
I mean, if I remember correctly, you were also like all for it.
I mean,
Not yet. Not yet. That was like
No,
the
but
second session.
Lauren, when they first met Crystal and Sam, she wasn't as freaked out as I think
No.
Briar or Vincent was.
Yeah,
No.
she was like, okay, like, cause they're like similar in age. They're both in their like early 20s, so they had that to relate off of, but they definitely did have different beliefs. Like, Lauren doesn't really believe in the supernatural or God or like that type of shit. She's just kind of like, life's gonna throw you whatever the fuck it's gonna throw you, and that's your shit out of luck, buddy.
What
Isn't
if
that the
life
truth?
throws you fireballs? Then what?
Well, it hasn't done that yet.
No?
Hasn't happened.
Not yet.
Not yet. I haven't learned that yet.
Yeah.
Whoa. But
This is in D&D, Halia. Come on.
yeah, Lauren definitely
Right.
looked at
Oh wait, is Holmes End
Crystal
not
and Sam
D&D?
being like,
I'm joking.
Surprise!
it was literally established in the first like
Yeah.
20 seconds
Call of Cthulhu,
that it
yeah,
was not.
Yeah, I heard. I love Call of Cthulhu.
And then yeah, Briar was like, he's also a cop, and I'm like, cool, that's what I'm in school with. That I could learn something off him.
Real
You
recognized.
guys can be
And-
buddy.
So
Besties.
buddy besties.
It's like the rookie in the pro trope.
Oh my goodness, you got the badge too. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a cop.
Hey, yo.
Don't
my
ask how
God.
many years he spent in the academy. He's only gonna say 1.5.
Lauren was about the same amount of time at this point. She did 2 semesters, and then she had like the summer off to do this summer credit. So she's not far in the game, but she definitely looked at you being all professional and being like, "Oh shit, he knows he knows his stuff." So yeah.
Anything anybody else would like to add?
I mean, Vincent's first reaction to everybody was probably like, these are some weird people while I'm just trying to eat some food.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
I was like, what's on the menu, guys? I believe when he was first introduced to them, like they had walked in the bar, but he was already there. He was just like trying to talk to the bartender, trying to.
Actually, I remember how
I
it
think
went.
it was
You
Briar
guys,
going to you.
Yeah, no, you guys got off the bus and you were outside of the Holmes Inn. And I remember because you were walking behind Sam and Crystal, and they looked back and they were like, "What the hell? This dude's following us!" And they picked up the pace.
Yeah.
And you were like,
And
"What
you're both
is
heading to the
going
inn,
on?"
right?
Yeah, because you guys were going to get rooms and whatnot. It was really funny. It was really
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and
oh, no.
that's where you guys met. And
Yeah, they found us.
yeah, when you guys
Yeah.
walked in, I remember I made my rounds and I went to you guys and I was like, "Oh, hey, you're new here? Yeah, what are you guys up to?" Kind of.
Oh, Okay, well, then that's what happened.
In strange circumstances.
Yeah, it was really funny because I remember you saying like you were like, "What are they doing?"
Are these kids okay?
they're-
Like,
Yeah, exactly that's pretty much exactly what you said. It was really funny.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
And that's where they all met, at the Holmes End. And not only that,
Holmes End. What a
but
great name.
at the Holmes Inn, the group had also noticed strange occurrences around the hotel. Specifically at the park next to the hotel, the swings were moving without a breeze. Crystal had tried to chase after something that was rustling in the bushes, but never got a good glimpse at it. At the hotel, they learnt about their joint connection and that somebody had called them all here. Using this information, they made their way towards the bar known as the Sly and Slender. The bartender slyly suggested they stay a bit after closing to help him out. And after the bar closed, the group noticed two other figures sitting with them. One was a man with a childish face, short brown hair, wearing a prominent cowboy hat with his feet kicked up on the table. The other had tousled black hair poking out from a black hoodie. He sat with his head down and his hands in his jacket pockets. What I want to ask you all is, what did you think of these folks at the time?
Okay. Can I start?
Sure, yeah. You seem like you want to say something.
I thought the dude in the black sweater was gonna rob us.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I was waiting for them to be like, I got a gun. Where's
Yeah.
give me your money, nerd?
He did kind of have that look to him. He was looking down like,
Did. He looked so sketchy.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't trust this person. Why are we here with him? The cowboy hat, I was like, yeah, dress up.
nice. Maybe it's like cowboy hats.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah, I didn't really think of anything of them.
Yeah, well, these two figures were the only ones that stayed with you guys after the bar closed. So maybe they
Yeah.
also were called by somebody.
That was weird. I was like, why are we here with them?
Yeah.
if anything, Vincent was just confused and tired. It was a long
Yeah, it was
bus ride.
late. Yeah, the bar closed at like 1 or something.
It was a long
Yeah.
bus
Yeah.
ride.
It was very late.
Yeah, Briar definitely didn't think too much of the black hoodied figure, but the cowboy, he was like, "Whoa, that guy, like, all my exes live in Texas," like that type of vibe. He definitely thought that the man with the hands in his pockets, he was like, "Oh, he's got a gun or something like that," but not gonna do anything. And if he does, like, whatever, just run away, kind of thing. So,
You're trained. You know what to do.
duck and cover.
Yeah. That solves every problem.
Oh, it does. It does.
So true.
Yeah, especially at the Sly and Slender.
Oh, I love ducking and
Ah,
all my homies love ducking and covering at the Sly and Slender. I got
All
the,
my
sh-
homies.
got the
Yeah.
scars to show it.
Did Lauren have any particular interest in these folks, or was it just like, oh, there's yes more people here?
Yeah, pretty much. She definitely didn't think the guy in the black hoodie had a gun because Lauren looks the exact same.
Yeah, it kind of real.
She's
I mean,
always
to be
in a
fair,
hoodie.
if anything, you looked like you also had a gun if you had your hands in your pockets.
Maybe.
Yeah, you two
But-
decide each other like who's gonna.
Who's gonna draw
Who's
first?
Who's
pulling the gun
Yeah.
first?
Who's gonna do this
it?
one?
Meet me outside 10 paces.
The cowboy's
Yeah,
there
the
to
guy-
see it
yeah.
off.
Yeah, the cowboy guy's like, what are you talking about? Like,
But did you expect these people to have a big impact on the story when you first met them?
yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. You were
I
just like these people are important. They must be.
guy with a cowboy hat. I was like, dude, this guy.
If you got a cowboy
can
hat,
I name,
you're
can I name
immediately
names?
important.
Can I name names, or is that coming later?
It's coming later.
Okay. Well, the man with the cowboy hat, I definitely it was like this guy is either going to play a huge part or he is going to go missing, because he looks like he had this kind of air of like confidence about him, this kind of swagger, and I was like, he's either gonna like get himself like fucking arrested, or he is going to find something so prolific that it's gonna amaze us, and we're gonna be like, dude,
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
But the man with the hands in his pockets, I didn't really think much. Didn't really think much of him. Definitely had an unimposing look. I thought maybe there would be some kind of combat encounter with him, just due to the gun thing. Maybe something like that would happen. But I definitely wasn't like, oh, this is going to be a super important character.
It was a kind of tense scene where you had no idea why you were brought here, and you were advised to stay after the bar closed, but you all wanted some information. And there were these two other figures just sitting around. You have no idea who they are, what their allegiances are. Yeah. But anybody else feel like they might have had a big impact?
I was just thinking, like, Vincent probably looked at the cowboy being like, sir? Wrong time period? Why are you here?
No, Vincent,
When
that's
he
just how
likes
Texans look.
dressing up.
That's just how Texans look.
He just wants to dress up like a cowboy.
And
You
then,
want to be a cowboy.
if anything, he was
baby.
just jealous of the hat. He wanted it. And
That's
then,
fair.
the guy with the hoodie, he was probably the
dude.
most normal looking person there.
Yep. Him and Lauren.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only one who thought he was going to
Weren't
kill
there
him.
two others
No,
in the
Briar
bar
also
as
thought.
well?
A little bit.
Weren't there
yeah.
two others in the bar as well?
Not yet.
Okay.
Currently
Continue.
at this moment, there was only one. Or two, sorry.
Cowboy, black hoodie.
Yep, but eventually,
Cowboy Black.
in the dark and
Oh.
empty, dimly lit pub, unless you have something you wanna talk about.
I was gonna answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't really think. Okay, as a player at the table, I'm like, these two fuckers are going to become important
Yeah.
to this motherfucking
It's like whenever
story.
the DM describes a character in detail, you're like, who the fuck are these guys?
They're gonna stick around. They're either gonna be a good NPC on our side and like want to help us with whatever the fuck we're doing, or they're going to end up killing us later.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's either one or the other, and it's a game of which one. So yeah, but Lauren was like, there's two guys here.
Just two folks.
Two other guys.
Just two guys in a
Just two
bar after
dudes
closing. I mean,
chilling in a bar.
Well, now that you
Okay.
know who they are, would you have done anything differently? Maybe
Yeah.
introduce yourself, or at least try to talk with them.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, I think, that question, that question might be leaning over to spoiler territory.
It's
I'm
a
just
little
gonna-
spoiler.
Hold on, I got one thing to
territory.
say without saying any spoilers. I would have sweetened up to that cowboy. That's all I gotta say.
Don't lie to
Whoa.
I
yourself.
would-
Briar's a nice
Bro.
appearance.
Yeah, Briar's appearance
Oh, yeah, you
is
have like a
pretty
70.
high. and he has a
Appearance
really high
is stat in
charm.
the game.
Just to give a little bit of backstory on Briar, he's not one to get into relationships, but boy, he'll flaunt what he's got to get what he wants.
Bro.
And it has happened. It has worked out.
I did. I feel bad.
has.
I feel really bad
Good.
about it.
And you
You
go for the
should.
fucking cowboy though?
No, because now that I know who he is, he's actually he's a very interesting character that I think I would have liked to gotten to know a little bit more. Maybe where he came from, stuff like that. I think he definitely has
Yeah.
had a character that we could have explored further, and I don't think we ever really got the chance to explore like
As much as
yeah.
you would
I
have
really
wanted
wish
to.
we could have explored more of his character.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Yeah, that's true.
That is fair.
Maybe
Too many
just
things
early
happening
on,
behind the
explored more of
scenes, I
his
guess.
character early on in the bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Broken the ice a little bit
Yeah.
Broke
How
the
does
ice.
one break ice?
with a
Break
hammer.
the ice.
Chisel.
You'll understand that
break
later.
Just let it go.
Frozen.
So, anybody else have anything they want to add, or can I just throw this question out to the wind?
Yeah. Where's the ice box?
We can't.
There is the
bruh.
icebox
Guys.
behind the bar, dude. It's not that
We
hard.
can't-
Anyway, eventually, in the empty and dimly lit pub, the door to the back creaked open, and a figure in a business suit and a gas mask that Lauren recognized immediately came walking out of the back holding a singular ringing flip phone. I believe Briar was the first one to get up and answer it.
Mhm.
The figure on the other line offered them companionship. The voice was almost seems text to speech. They offered them companionship, a suitcase full of cash, and a strange, mysterious book if they investigated the strange figures who were wandering the graveyard at night. This book in particular, Crystal seemed to recognize it, or at least understand what it meant. After proposing his offer, the businessman simply strolled out the front door. With a laugh, the figure in the cowboy hat took a look at the party and went out the door after him. And a few moments later, while the party were deliberating on what to do, a gunshot rang out across the street. I remember there being immediate panic, and this was the first moment of supposed danger. I want to ask you all what was going through you and your characters' minds.
I don't want to die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a
Like,
'Cause
gotta
I,
hide.
Yeah, I
think
believe.
we all-
I was gonna say I
Nope,
believe.
sorry.
When I first described Call of Cthulhu and the session I wanted, I said I was gonna hold no punches. Call of Cthulhu is a very it could be a very dangerous game because you're all playing just regular people in this world full of monsters and mythos, and
Yep.
you could die in a single turn if you're not lucky.
Yeah. It's.
You're squishy.
Yeah.
You're very squishy.
It's more
Very
common than you
squishy.
think.
But. Yes.
Just like in real life.
But absolutely. It's.
And
yeah,
that's scary.
What's my hit
Yeah.
point total at
That's
right
terrifying.
now? Oh.
What?
Yeah. So, what was going through you guys' minds?
For me, I think it was like, what the fuck do I do?
I remember this very vividly.
I don't remember the exact feeling of what to do, but I'm
Yeah.
sure I was panicking.
I think if I'm
I don't remember.
remembering this correctly, I think we were split up at this point or about to split up.
Not yet. Yeah.
I think we
Not-
were.
oh.
I actually think we were
think
split up
that-
at
I
this
think
point.
we were because I remember being with
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Sam and Crystal
Yeah.
and
The second.
because
the
I
second
know
group
we
were
were
in
I know we
Briar's
were
car.
outside at this point.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I believe
I
the
think that
three
was a
of
different
us-
Time.
I
I
don't know.
think
It-
so.
it was
because we
it
heard
was a-
three.
Yeah. You
We
guys
heard
did
three
split up.
gunshots. The
Yeah.
point with Lauren,
We-
Sam, and
Yeah.
Crystal.
I think it was this moment because
And
we
the gunshots
were,
were
heading
were
back.
close by, by the way. They were it
At,
sounded like
Yeah.
they came from down the street.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we were
they were a
also
couple blocks away.
we were also with Black Sweater Man.
Nope, he was with us.
No, he was with
Mhm.
the boys.
Yeah.
He
Because
left
I
after.
believe as soon as
He left
as
after
soon
because we
as-
heard it.
yeah, this figure eventually left because as soon as he heard the offer from the man in the business suit, he immediately would leave if he didn't. Yeah, I can't remember if you were all together or split up.
The reason
Because
I know
I think
I know for a fact we were split up because Vincent, Briar, and the man in the hoodie were in his car when we heard the gunshots, and I remember flicking my police scanner on.
Police
and
radio, yep.
We listened to it before. I was like, we need to go to the graveyard. So
Yeah.
that's how I know we were split up at
And-
that time.
and I remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay. I remember I believe we were going back to the hotel. I
Yeah,
know
we were in front of
we
it.
we were very close to it, and I remember Lauren's police brain going off, being like, "We need to get inside." And I think you and Sam wanted to investigate it, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck
yeah,
no, we're going inside."
yeah, because Black Sweater guy. I don't know if we knew his name at this point.
Not yet.
He was with
Nope.
Brian.
No, okay. So I don't think he was.
He
No,
I'm
he was with
Yeah,
Vincent
he
and
wasn't with you
Briar.
guys.
He wasn't with us.
what I'm remembering.
he
is,
came back to the hotel afterwards.
Okay, but what I'm remembering is Lauren, Sam, Crystal, and Black Sweater Man. We were going to the hotel or the inn, and then we heard the gunshots, and then he was like, "I want to go," and Sam and Crystal were like, "We gotta go," and then Lauren was like, "No, we cannot go there," because then he left and found Vincent and Briar.
You know what? You might be onto something.
Unless this is a different moment. And this has
No,
happened twice.
I feel like you
Might
might be
be.
right.
No, the
I feel
reason
like you might be right.
I'm pretty sure later on, Black Hoodie Man left Vincent and Briar and went back to the hotel.
Yeah, I believe the guy in the black hoodie got to the graveyard first. And you guys saw him there.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And then he
did-
came back.
So
Yeah.
he heard them first then. Because we heard them and
I think he immediately left as soon as,
Yeah, he wasn't with you.
he
did.
heard.
because I'm remembering
played
this
this back and
outside.
forth.
Anyway, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it was
matter.
a while
It
ago.
doesn't matter.
Anyway,
It
yeah,
doesn't
what was
matter.
No
yeah.
point of arguing about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean
Yeah.
we weren't arguing.
No, but this is a
No.
solid
What
5
was your-
minutes of
yeah, what
just
was
back
your-
and forth. Oh,
What
it
was,
was this,
what,
it was
what
that.
was what was your character thinking?
Yeah, I went into cop brain, and shit.
You shit
Lauren
yourself.
learned from school. No, shut up. Stuff she learned from school, being like, if there's a fucking shooting, gotta get away from it.
Mm-hmm. That was a very
so-
interesting reaction, because normally when you're role playing a character, you wanna like be the hero. You wanna go charging forth and try to help wherever you can. But it was in this moment where everybody was like, "Nope,
Yeah.
I'm not fucking around with that."
I think especially with just Lauren in general, she's surprisingly a lot like me. So, just playing her and going through these stressful situations has been like, okay, what would Alyssa do? And Alyssa would fucking run away from gunshots.
Yeah, that's a very realistic reaction.
And
Yeah, it's great that
and
you
she
can
would want
put
to-
yourself in that character's shoes.
yeah, and she would want to tell the fucking people who want to go towards the gunshots to not do that because they might die. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but luckily, you guys listened to little me.
Anybody want to add anything?
Well, I remember Briar's first thought was I should turn on my police scanner, and when he heard that the police were dealing with it, he was like, "Okay, time to go to the graveyard to investigate, get a head start in the investigation." Especially because it's like it was the opposite way of the gunshots. So
No, that's fair. And that police radio came in handy. So I think you realize that either the person was down or injured or even maybe even killed.
Have you even used that since?
haven't had.
I
a
don't think
reason
so.
to.
No.
Haven't had a reason
Yeah,
to.
true. Yeah. Yeah, Crystal, Lauren, and Sam eventually decided to head back to the inn after hearing those gunshots. They decided to stay safe and stay inside. I believe in the hotel, as Lauren was about to enter her room. It might have been at this point where she saw a man sort of walk past her, eyeing her strangely. The figure just kind of like looked over, just walked past her. I was want to ask if you even remembered this moment, and what do you think of it, both at the time and now?
No, I did not remember this.
Okay.
Actually, Noah was very kind and sent us his whole script and what questions we were getting, and I saw this and I was like, huh?
Oh.
I
This happened.
Yeah, it was
I-
it was a beat moment.
Yeah,
think I
and I
remember
w-
this.
And I was thinking of like a moment that happened way after this, but I'm like, no, there's no way like we're confusing two moments. This definitely happened, and I just stressful situation.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I did not remember.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Stuff like
it
that
seemed
happens.
like how
and
you
your
remembered.
brain-
I'm pretty sure I at least remember the guy. Because there was a moment in, like, like a more
Cat.
recent, that we saw something relating to that dude. And I was like, wait a minute, Noah, is this the guy? And you were like,
Maybe.
yeah. What the
Remember?
fuck? How'd you remember that? And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah,
remember that
I remember
moment.
somebody remembered it, and I was glad because those little moments usually just pass by your head where you're just like, I don't get what that means. Bye. But
Yeah, that was
Fast
what
deletion.
happened.
it surprised me that you remembered them.
Yeah.
Well, it's good
But,
someone did.
Yeah, fortunately, this is pretty much the end of Lauren and Crystal's story for chapter 1.
I was like, wait a minute,
Do,
what?
do you
We
do you
die
wish
on the spot.
that-
Please
Bang.
don't you did.
No, it's just they didn't do much else for chapter 1. I think
No.
they just stayed in and they
Weren't you guys doing
They
something
wanted
with
to,
like
stay
the
safe.
police board or whatever?
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
just they were setting up all their equipment and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lauren
Crystal
was
and
with us.
Crystal and Sam had like this board of shit that they would do all their conspiracy shit on.
It's like basic police shit with like a bunch of sticky notes, like
You know, like the red
printed,
string.
Conspiracies.
The classic.
Red string. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got like an Illuminati up there somewhere.
Yeah, probably Illuminati, Area 51.
Lauren was
Michael
definitely looking at this
Jackson.
being like,
Absolutely, but you were with us. Like, we didn't make her.
Yeah.
We were like,
well,
you agree?
well, gunshots just happened, and I think the last thing we should do is split the fuck up. So I was
Yeah.
like, sure.
We were just happy to have another person on our team.
And
Yeah,
that's when
no.
the friendship of Crystal and Lauren and Sam began.
Absolutely.
Three Musketeers.
Besties.
Besties.
And I just wanted to say, as a DM, I want everybody to be involved. I want everybody to like constantly have a say in the session or not feel as if they're left out too much. But I don't know how I could have like had you guys more included, because most of what happened coming up was, or at least what happened during the night was just Vincent and Briar.
Mm.
And I was wondering how do you guys feel about this?
I mean,
Like, were you okay with it, or would you
Yeah.
preferred?
I was
Okay.
fine. Cause you're not gonna be like in every single situation together in real life
Yeah.
anyway. So like that makes sense to me. I was like, okay, yeah, we're here doing our own thing, and then the boys are
The
off doing their own
boys.
thing. Da
Yeah.
boys.
The
So I
boys.
was like, yeah. I didn't think it was like that big of a deal that we were separated.
Cool.
As long as we had someone with us, I was like, this is fine.
Cool.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially how like Holmes End has grown, we kind of
Yeah.
like have done our own things anyways, and I feel like just our group in general, we're kind of okay with, and we encourage people to do like their own things too.
True.
We
true.
work
So-
together by working separately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, and yeah, as a player, I'm not going to compromise what my character would do in a situation just so I can roll dice and play the
Yeah.
game, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I was fine with it. I did not care.
Sure. Cool. Yeah, that's a very interesting opinion to hear.
I can
Because I
can
can
play
see
a session
people
and
going
not
the
do
other way.
straight up anything.
Yeah, I'm same
Yeah.
here. I love watching people do things. I could picture
Yeah.
it greatly in my head. I'll just sit down and be like, wow, that's a nice movie.
That's what. Yeah. As soon as I'm
That's
out of
how
the
Holmes
scene.
End feels.
Yeah. As soon as I'm out of the scene, I'm sitting
I'm glad to hear
there.
it.
I'm like I need to absorb every lick of information I can.
Like, yo, you're like Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, I'm just
in
like
Scooby Doo. I must absorb the elements.
Like Lauren's
Meditating.
like, I'm going to play a game on my phone, and I'm just like, okay. Like I'm
can
just
see
sitting
it.
there. I'm just sitting there.
Minesweeper.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there listening to you guys describe, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's. I'm thinking of like the
Gets into
scene
the
where
meditative
SpongeBob and
state.
Patrick are in the box.
Yeah.
What was that?
The box.
there's like a whole episode, yeah.
Imagination.
Yeah,
Well, they're just picturing things in their head, but in reality they're going like, "Arg."
I try to take as much. I just try to listen as much as I can.
That's good.
I
I'm
really
glad you guys
hope
are
the
okay with it.
editor put rainbows over our hands when we did that.
That would be cool.
I really hope the editor does it so I don't look like a dumbass. Yay!
Only do it to one person though. That special person. Roll for it.
That's special for
So-
me.
For it. Fuck. Okay.
I'm
Not
glad
right-
you
not right
guys.
now.
Let me get my dice.
No,
Glad
no,
you guys-
Not you.
Glad you guys were okay
we'll
with
find
it.
out. We'll find out when it's
As, uh,
posted.
As now Vincent and Briar, adjacent to this, they went over with the figure in the hoodie. Surprisingly, who they discovered was named Walter.
Walter.
They went up to investigate the graveyard on their mysterious benefactor's orders. Cautious, they made their way up. A large graveyard is surrounded by a black iron fence. With aid from their flashlights, they saw the stylish letters that indicated the location to be the Holmes End graveyard. Above the title is a rusted iron head of a man with large curls wearing a frock coat. Heading deeper inside, they saw the mass of graves and mausoleums spanning the view. Most are unnamed and decrepit. However, a rough dirt path curls along the ground like scarred veins. Untamed grass and gnarled trees stand tall, trying to reclaim the land around them. As they entered, faintly in the moonlight, they noticed a figure entering a mausoleum on a hill. They captured a hazy photo of the figure wearing what appeared to be a black suit. Unfortunately, their flash was on, and it sparked out in the night. Without knowing if the figure on the hill saw anything, they went up to investigate. The mausoleum was a beautiful, white, Roman-inspired building outlined in gold, an iron gate encompassing the whole thing. But it appeared to have a broken lock. Inside, a claustrophobic staircase led down 10 feet or so into the dark, where 6 stone coffins lined the walls. Graffiti is sparsely decorating the place. And amongst this, Briar saw an image of a long, slender figure that spanned up the wall, its face on the ceiling itself, looking down on him with one solid hole where his face should be. Well, how would you describe Briar's feelings at this moment?
There was an equal mixture of complete and utter confusion, followed very quickly by an overwhelming wave of just fear. Just to go a little bit into his backstory, his brother disappeared on Halloween night. They were sorting their candy in this tree fort that they were told not to go to, and they were only allowed to go to it during the winter. And they went there before the winter came, and they were sorting their candy out with their flashlights, and in the blink of an eye, his brother was gone in front of him. His sister got him out of there, and this was when they were around 11 to 12. And for the coming years, he had dreams, very, very cryptic and odd, of this long, weird man, legs like trees that stretched up into the heavens, where he grabbed his brother. And over the years, he kind of started believing that that was the fact. That was not fiction, and this is something that actually happened. Whether it did or not kind of confused him, but seeing that bit of graffiti definitely was like, maybe I am validated, maybe I'm not crazy. This could be very big, and that's kind of where his curiosity was now no longer a sense of curiosity, but a sense of duty. He was like, I need to. This is the first time I'm going to solve a cold case, and it's going to be the one that I want to solve, because this is the first lead I've found ever. So
It was a strange lead. It was a piece of graffiti in the middle of a mausoleum.
Yeah, and with what we learned about that mausoleum, the construction and whatnot, it was very, from what I understand, it was very, very new. So it was very jarring. It was a very jarring experience for Briar.
And also wanted to ask if you guys remembered the flash moment where you saw the figure on in the suit.
I genuinely remember that moment so vividly.
Yeah.
I even picture it now where it's like a bushel of trees that are in this graveyard and hills just lining up to this mausoleum with like I'm picturing cross graves just going straight up to it, and then all of a sudden when the flash goes off, just seeing a shadow figure like there and then disappeared.
Yeah.
Like you see the bright
Imagine-
light of it, but then like the moonlight ends up like you're able to adjust your eyes to the moonlight, and then it's not there. It's just flashbang moment in
Yeah.
a sense.
Exactly. It was one of those moments where you're like, shit, fuck.
Yeah, it's one of those moments I could see very vividly because I've had my family used to go to graveyards a lot, especially the one where we live. Not because there's necessarily a lot of people we know there, but just
went drinking in graveyards,
my family is very into like spiritualism. I guess the best way to put it is like the occult. My mother is whether you believe in this kind of stuff or not, but she's a medium. Like she can talk to ghosts and whatnot, and she believes, and I personally believe in a lot of the like the real quote unquote like real magic that you can do, you know, bringing good luck on people or bad luck and whatnot, and hanging out in the graveyards a lot as kids. We used to take photos with cameras very much like the one that Briar has, and when you take a picture with the flash, the entire background is completely black except save for a couple trees that you can see the outlines of. The ground is kind of like a greenish gray, very bright, and in the center you would see that shadowed figure, the like almost white gray stone from the flash. It was just so in
Vivid.
fact, if we can even if we could make a trip to the graveyard sometime before the editor gets their
Just
hands on
recreate it.
finishing it, we could recreate the photo. But I can see it so vividly in my head because
Yeah.
of my personal experiences
It's one of those,
in real
those
life.
movie moments.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I've lived through this already, like kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, after heading down and exploring the mausoleum, they found no sign of this strange suited figure. And illuminated only by the flashlights on their phone, they tried to investigate further by prying open the coffins. They had no luck. In the midst of this investigation, around 2 a.m. at night, alone in this claustrophobic mausoleum, they began to hear footsteps slowly walking down the stairs. And that's the end of chapter 1.
Oh,
Sorry to leave on a cliffhanger. But I
Damn.
want to hear everybody's
Rude.
thoughts so far.
Jump in.
That's my thoughts.
So excited. I remember living through these moments the first time, and the second time is no different. I was so excited. Just seeing all this stuff unfold, meeting these characters, and also, without going too much into detail, the impact that it would have on me as a person and my perception of Call of Cthulhu and tabletop in general. This story so far has elevated all expectations that one could hold for these types of things, and truly experiencing something that's like picturesque, something that you could go to the theater and like watch, being able to live through something like that.
Holy shit, dude.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it. If you guys ever have the chance, I really recommend playing Call of Cthulhu, and hopefully
It's like,
sometime in the future we can share our experiences live or record them for you.
that'd be cool. Although I do make a lot of mistakes sometimes when DMing. And I imagine
That's
doing
okay.
that live would be very, which just make me anxious for some reason.
Well,
We
have
can
you ever tried
pre-record
not
it.
Do it
being
live.
anxious?
Yeah, we can record it.
Oh,
We can
true.
do it
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
That's what I thought Ryan meant.
Yeah. Don't tell them though. Don't tell the audience. You guys didn't hear that.
Editor, keep
But,
that in.
No, don't don't do that.
But yeah, playing Call of Cthulhu is great because if you ever watch a horror movie or like read a book and you're like, no, don't do that. What I would do is I would go down the stairs and leave. Well, guess what? You can do it, and you can see the aftermath of what happens when you make those decisions.
Yeah. And
Yup.
honestly, there's times where you're like horror movie moments where you're like, "Why are you leaving?" And it's like you're looking at another like player at the table, and you're like, "I'm going to go further," and you're like, "What the heck?" And I know I've done stuff like that as well, where like almost like a third party look in. Like I'm sure you guys have seen me. I'm like, I want to go do this, and you guys are like, "What the hell? Why are you?"
Foreshadowing.
There'll be those moments.
Oh my.
Yeah.
We've already
fucking
experienced
God.
them, man.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I never thought I would be so scared playing a Dungeons and
Holy
Dragons type
shit,
game.
dude.
So
The
Love
amount
you,
of
I got you.
times that you
Holy
have
shit.
actually made me scream. Fuck you.
There's been real nightmares from this stuff, by the way.
Let's go.
Oh my god.
Oh
Just
my
some of
God.
the dream stuff, like, eh.
Yeah, very vivid.
You know what?
What are you, a sheep?
You know something's
Meh.
really good and it like hits you in the feels or the anxiety or whatever the emotion is when, because usually we play around like 6:30 at night, and then like we usually wrap up around like 11.
11.
So
Sometimes 11:30.
yeah, so you go home and then you immediately like sleep, and then you wake up and you still have those same like that same pit of anxiety or whatever when you're sleeping, and that happens all the fucking time.
Even just
Not
with,
for me.
And it's-
I already
and
know
it's
everything.
Evil.
even
Wow.
with these first couple sessions, dude. These first couple sessions, it's like, you guys think this cliffhanger is like, oh, I want to know more. Like the
Well, just
cliffhangers
wait.
of like
Yeah.
Wait
leaving
till the
like,
next
and
episode, 'cause
wanting-
the next
yeah.
episode gets juicy.
You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I like when you're playing through this stuff. You're like, oh, because you have to sit there and dwell on A, the mistakes you made, and B, the
my
mistakes you're
God.
going to make. Because you know, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Doesn't go that way. Like the Flash incident, I was like, oh yeah, I've got a 40 in
I
photography.
know this all too
and,
well.
and so that's pretty much like a coin flip, right? It's slightly below 50-50 chance. I was like, oh, this is gonna go hard. And then the Flash went off, and I was just like,
Bro.
like,
I'm pretty sure at that moment I was like, nope. Start
But-
walking away.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so far it's just been that first couple sessions, dude. Before it really hits you, you're like, yeah, you're just some normal people. Before the true mysteries start to kick in, right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is some Scooby-Doo type stuff, you know, Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo?
type stuff. Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, they're making a second one. No, it just
Monsters Unleashed.
the gravity of the situation hasn't
No
hit
way.
yet, but it's still there. That anxiety of like someone's coming down the stairs.
The gravy.
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to do? And then having to
I
wait
felt
a full
it for you guys.
waiting a full week to have to be like, who is that coming down the stairs?
Oh my god.
Hey, like,
That's the
like,
most
because you don't even. That's the
agonizing
problem. Is like
part.
you're like,
Fucking
Is it like-
Holmes End.
Don't
Is it
remind
a-
me of the fucking
is it a
week that I have
cop?
to wait.
Is it a cultist? Is it like a crazy person? Because I believe with the notes that Noah sent me, he told me that there's people spotted in the graveyard, and I believe I misread it as like, oh, there's cultists in the graveyard. So I had this preconceived notion of there's a cult in the graveyard, and hearing
Yeah.
those footsteps coming down, I was like, no,
It's over.
Hey, yo.
these coffins are for us.
Any other thoughts?
Ugh. Agonizing.
I got one more.
I wasn't there. We weren't even there, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, they're gonna die," and
over.
it's gonna be over, and it's gonna suck. I don't know what I'm doing.
I got one more thought, and that's awesome fucking work at on setting the scene, Noah.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Thank
I've
you.
never felt more helpless at some points.
I
You'll
was never
find
felt
out what I
more
mean in a
immersed.
later
I've never-
episode, but oh my
I've
god.
never felt more immersed in the situations at hand.
Well, enough buttering me
Noah
up.
is a
Um,
great storyteller.
It's
Let's,
absolutely amazing.
Fortunately for you all,
Crunch-
you gotta wait.
crunch.
So you're gonna feel that same
Now
sense
you know
of
how it
dread waiting
feels.
to see
You
who
know
comes
how
down
it
the stairs.
feels.
We hope you enjoyed the story so far. There'll be many mysteries to come, answers to be found, and characters to be met. For finishing Chapter 1 of this side quest, your reward is the strange book that was found in the businessman's briefcase. It's a ring notebook. The front page a shifting mass of red and blacks that one could almost fall into. Looking inside, there are notes written in Russian, with the occasional charcoal image of strange sigils and runes. Be careful. The contents of this book are not to be taken easily, for reading it turns the eyes of the mythos towards you. Keep it safe. Someone might be after it. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, The Emirates and the Lake.